Hello again, this is James J. Adams with Words Bold, and I'm back this time to share with you part 3 of Luriii. Before I share this poem, I want to remind you again that you can find my books and CDs on Trafford.com, Amazon, and iTunes. Just type in James J. Adams and my material will come there for your consideration. Let us rise higher than fantasy and make-believe. Poetry for the deceased, for the dead, is normally peppered with fantasy to entertain the readers. And fantasy is typically for those that hate learning, those that hate the truth, because they will have to admit that the lies that they've been sleeping with. This living poem of life doesn't deal with fantasy. The realities of man's existence, as you know, and realities of man's spiritual condition are way too urgent, way too important to hide in flowery language. We're rising. If I write words that are not from my soul, words that are not from my heart, or if I write words to deceive the big and the small children, there's a price that I must pay. And I can't afford to pay or to play with the gifts that I've been loaned. Or we can rise to a spiritual level way beyond that's fussing and cussing and fighting over who's right about this and who's right about that. We're all wrong in some way or another. Psalm 18:30 says, as for God, his way is perfect. The word of the Lord is tried. He is a buckler to all those that trust in him. We're rising to a spiritual level that is where the ultimate service is. Living right. People are now expecting me to define living right. Let the healing continue. We can rise to a standard that exceeds expectations of this life and this time that we live in. For Lord knows we live in a time. And we can rise far above our own self-righteousness. For self-righteousness is the enemy and torture chamber for the unwise. We're rising, but there is no debating. There is no hating or manipulation and the twisting and bending of the spiritual righteousness that is not of man's own hands and his less than capable mind. My dear brothers and my dear sisters, let us pray for wisdom. Let us yearn for understanding that will skyrocket us way above our simple pleasures and natures. Our simple desires often betray us as we fall into the traps of being easily influenced and impressed by the silliness that surrounds us. We're rising. Need the poet write that men who are easily influenced and impressed by evil trappings are men who are led astray and who rise only in the shallow of their minds. I can make you laugh, and I can make you giggle. I can make you snicker, but I want to write words that make you go, I want you to feel where I'm coming from. But let us rise, let us get on our feet, let us stretch our wings and prepare for flight, and rise to the power of the written and spoken spiritual words, the words that challenge us, the words that correct and mold us, the words that make us uncomfortable, that disturb our sleep, the words that cry out to us. Nehemiah 1:4 says, and it came to pass when I heard these words that I sat down and wept and mourned certain days and fasted and prayed before the God of heaven. Be bold.